Welcome to the live stream. No one's here right now, but eventually people can probably start joining, so. How's it going? Welcome to the live stream. First person here. Hello, Zach. You might be first. I don't know. Probably first. How's it going, Will? Thanks for joining the live stream. Make sure you give this a thumbs up. It'll get broadcast to more people. So if you're on mobile or your computer, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So I was going to spend some time in the garage tonight. I'm working on fixing my Dremel, which I don't know if you can see or not, but the locking mechanism, this little piece right here, fits in to these slots, and I've been doing so much Dremel work that it's just ground itself down to pretty much nothing. So I ordered the new part for that, but I had to take it all apart to figure it out first. So, and I don't want to send it in for warranty work, so we are going to fix it ourselves as we do out here, because we don't take things to the mechanics or the warranty stuff. So we're going to be fixing that probably this weekend. I'm not going to make a video on it or anything because it's kind of arbitrary, but it's something that we'll be doing. It's fun to take apart things and fix them and figure out how they work. It's kind of cool how there's like, I don't know if you guys are into this sort of thing, but all these coils and everything, like the electronic coils and all that, spin the Dremel around. I don't know. It's interesting to me, but it's frustrating because when I was younger, I would take apart things and then they would never get back together. But now that there's a YouTube video for pretty much everything, you can fix stuff yourself and not have to worry about it. So I do have some things to paint though. I'll show you guys if you just give me a second. So on this Mazda logo, you can see that it just gets all chipped up. And I used like my favorite paint to use for flat black is actually it's called like barbecue grill paint, I guess. It's like a super durable paint, but it just has not stuck well onto plastic parts. Like I have them on my hood vents, and it's lasted a lot better than the plastic parts. It hardens really well. And I've just had issues with this. So I think I'm going to repaint this. This is one, like this kind of project is one of those things where I'll throw it on a live stream and everything, or just do it without making a video at all. But it's kind of pointless to put a video like this on my channel if you guys are wondering about that sort of thing. So I think that's what we're going to be doing. And I just wanted to live stream because I haven't live streamed in quite a bit. So we're here. We've got a little bit of wild turkey whiskey bourbon here. So I don't know if you guys are into that sort of thing, but I do love a good whiskey, and I got the wild turkey because my grandpa used to drink it quite a bit, and I haven't ever bought it before. So I decided to give it a shot, and I really enjoy it. So if you guys are into whiskeys or things like that, definitely recommend Wild Turkey 101. It's like 101 proof, something like that. That might not be right, but I don't know. It's really good, and if you're a seasoned whiskey drinker, you will definitely enjoy this. So it is quite tasty. Also been working on, spin this around, so kind of reorganizing my tool bench. I got this new light. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it, but turning it off, my garage kind of becomes a dungeon. It looks bright in like on the stream and on camera and everything, but it's really lacking in lighting for the workbench. Like, it puts on some pretty big shadows because the light's behind me right now, so it puts a pretty big shadow on there. So with this, it brightens it up quite a bit, and it's pretty nice. So that's something that I did recently. I've been starting to think of doing more kind of like garage updates sort of thing, because I like videos, like tested videos where Adam Savage from Mythbusters does like his shop videos. So been working on doing stuff like that. But I don't know if you guys would be interested in it or not. It's kind of just like a hobby thing. Like, I come out here just about every day and mess with stuff. But that's maybe something more for like a daily vlog. And I don't know if I've gotten to that point yet of doing daily vlogs. So basically, I'm just going to be doing a little bit of sanding, just kind of hanging out here, hoping to chat with some of you guys. So we'll just kind of see how the evening goes. I mean, I've had people in the past ask me when the next live streams were, and I know I used to do them like every Sunday. I kind of started that tradition a year ago when I was doing the Vlogmas or whatever. And it was a good way to make a video at least once every week. But I just really haven't done it since then, as much at least. So kind of decided I'd, jump on here tonight. People were available, they could jump into the stream, ask questions, we could chat about whatever, and just have a good Friday night working out in the garage. There will be another video going out tomorrow about something a little different than I've done on the channel before. I guess I can show you guys. So one thing that I'm big into is like electronics. My dad is actually an electronic engineer, so I learned quite a bit of stuff from him a while back. He showed me how things should be wired. It's pretty simple, like it's a simple thing to do, But so if you're in the stream, you'll get a sneak peek at tomorrow morning's video. And I know this is a popular thing for right now, or in this time, this time of year, people get little technology stuff, and I got myself a dash cam, and I've hardwired it in. And you can use this hardwiring video for like doing a dash cam or a like a radar detector or whatever, as long as it has a micro USB. And I wanted to wire it up to be on all the time. Have you replaced your top yet? The tear in mine that I tried to repair. I haven't before. And it's funny you ask that, because I was actually looking at this earlier. It's been raining for like the last 3 days here. So let me spin this around. My soft top is not in perfect condition. It's got this little tear right here, and it's also got a little spot right here that has teared. I'll come over to this side as well. It's starting to wear down right here, and you can see right here as well. And it does leak through here. So like if it's raining really hard and I park in the rain, it does leak. And let me show you the inside. So I just kind of threw like some duct tape and all. It's really ghetto, but I threw some duct tape and I put electrical tape underneath it so it looks black underneath. And then I sealed it in. So no water gets through here, believe it or not. And I mean, it's probably like an inch long tear or so. This came from opening it and closing it. So I did seal this off. But to answer your question, I haven't done like soft top replacement or anything like that yet, because he looks at it and it's like, if I'm gonna invest the, I don't know, $500 into getting a brand new soft top, if I save the money for a little longer, I could get a hard top, and it's just not a priority. Because once spring comes around, I drive with the top down all the time. So once spring comes around, it'll just be down for day and night, because I park in a garage at work and I park in the garage at home, obviously. So I just don't worry about it too much. If it's down, I can't see it. But it's just not a big priority tomorrow. Like, it's not a big priority at the time. Yeah, so where that goes is like, so on the vinyl soft tops, I have a vinyl one. It starts to tear at where it folds in and out, which is those spots. On the cloth tops, they tend to first show, like the glue will bleed through. Stitch and use liquid repair works. I have thought about that. The only thing I'm worried about is, since I have a vinyl soft top, the vinyl gets really thin. So if I stitch it up, I'm worried that the threads will break through and then get all loose. And believe it or not, I stitch a lot of things. Like, my mom is a big sewer, which is silly, but she taught me how to do that stuff. And so I know how to stitch things and sew things, but I'm just worried, since it's not a cloth top, I'm worried if it'll hold or not. But I've thought about the some people will use like if you have an inner tube or something for like an air mattress, you can use those vinyl repair kits. I thought about one of those. I might make a video on that at some point when I try it out, depending on how expensive it is. But in the long run, I know it's important that I should probably just replace the entire top. And I don't know if I'm going to do that myself. Let's see what it's working for now. Yeah, I could imagine the vinyl patches will hold the stitches in place for sure. There's a guy that's local in our Miata groups, and he in the DFW area, he replaces a lot of people's vinyl tops. $20 Ace. I'll have to go look then. I actually have an Ace Hardware that's walking distance from our house, so I might go check it out and see what I can come up with. But anyone who's new, I'm just working on this thing right now. So thank you everyone who's been joining. It's good to chat with subscribers. I do appreciate everyone who has subscribed to the channel recently. We're real close to 2,500 subscribers, which is, it's pretty unbelievable. It makes me really excited that people join the channel. Because at the end of the day, I love making videos. I have a video degree, so I have a background in making videos and things like that. And it makes me really excited to see people join and watch the videos, because that's kind of my main goal coming out of school, was searching for jobs. I work a social media job, and I get to make videos for that and everything, but I get to, you know, make videos about things that I love doing, which is working on cars and stuff like that. The fact that you guys watch them really means a lot to me. So thank you to everyone who watches. And I hope it is a valuable resource to some people, because, you know, I'm no mechanic. I'm not trained in mechanics or anything, but I'm a big DIYer. I like to do things myself and learn, and I just want to share that with people. So thank you for everyone new. If this is your first live stream, thank you for joining in the recent times. But yeah, so I'd say thank you every single video, and I feel like I do, but just throwing it out there personally for everyone who's watching the live stream and tuning in. Thank you. I guess while I'm thinking about it, I can give you an update. So the 2.4 over here. If you haven't caught the most recent video, we added the EGR block-off plate, and we've done pretty much all the bolts. So like these coolant outlet bolts polished, the oil filter housing polished, fuel rail polished, the spark plug or the coil packs polished, and did like the water pump. I've got a new pulley. I will do all of these bolts. I'll polish these up. I just want everything to look new, or at least like refreshed. We've got the cam pulley sensor here polished. I've got this over here too. So this was a used cam pulley or crank pulley. And what setting are on your coilovers? The settings on my coilovers, I have them set to, I think like 15, or so I have the TN Flex Z, and they have 16-way adjustable dampening. I think I have them set to like 14 in the front and the rear, and it's not super low. I mean, the tires, I can fit a finger in parallel or whatever. But I could definitely go lower. And then the front too. I've given myself some room on the coilovers, but it's really preference and what will hit, you know, because I rub on huge bumps. I'll rub, but I daily drive this, and I haven't had a rubbing issue in a little bit. So. But about the 14th setting, I think like the Meister coilovers go, I think they have like 30. So I'm not super well versed in that. But so this is the crank pulley, and I did a gloss black outside, and it's kind of textured because of the metal, and then I did a flat black inside. So this will go on in place of the OEM one. or at least the Ford OEM one. So you can see the difference here. So it'll look nicer, but I'll get that on eventually. Son daily drives mine to high school with mine on the weekends. That's very generous of you. So I daily drive mine every single day, and I don't know where you're located, but in Texas at least, we don't have bad roads, but we've been transitioning. There's been a lot of construction, a lot of uneven streets and things like that. And like 60, 65 miles per hour is the sweet spot for me, and I don't rub. If I go over 70 and hit a large divot in the road, it'll rub the fender liner. But I've autocrossed, things like that, and I really don't have any issues. So with the coilovers, as long as you're conservative and I've lowered my car compared to stock. It's probably 4 inches lower than stock, and I haven't had too many issues. The tires will rub, but I don't have any deep grooves in the tires or anything like that, so it's not super concerning. So I have to select the chat on my phone. 13 front, 13 rear. Yeah, that's about the same. So that's about the same dampening I have on mine. I do like my car a little bit lower, but I think you could probably go a little lower, depending on your tire size and everything like that too. North Atlanta suburbs, the orange barrels are a picture on roads. We have a lot of those. So the other day I was driving home, and I was on a frontage road that's been worked on, and one of the rubber pieces that go around the bottom of the orange barrels to weight it down was in the middle of the road. And I do think if I hit one of those, I'd probably hit it, like on the underside. I mean, going over speed bumps at my work, I can't park in the main garage at work anymore because the last time I did, we have bolted in speed bumps, and the under bracing got stuck on one and it bent it real bad. But other than that, I don't worry too much because, I mean, it's one of those things where like the plastics on your fender wells and everything. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I made a video on that in the past. Luckily, the under bracing is fairly thin aluminum, and I bent it back with a wrench. But yeah, since then I can normally get over speed bumps just fine, but I guess the bolt in the speed bump was sticking out a little further than I initially thought it would be. So it's whatever, it doesn't damage the car. I mean, it doesn't damage it visually. And as long as your exhaust isn't hitting or your oil pan or things like that, it is what it is. I don't worry too much about it. What's next on the 2.5? So what's next on the 2.5 is my kind of plan is, so right now, the next two big ticket items I have are the new set of cams, as well as the intake manifold. I want to get the Moto East intake manifold, or I guess it's zero limit now. And before I do that, I want to make sure I have that before I do anything else to it. There's still lots of things to do, like show you. So over here is kind of my 2.5 pile. We've got spark plugs, we've got a belt, we've got the more EGR kit, valve cover gaskets, we've got more oil filter housing gaskets, we've got the pickup tube still.
These are the diamond washers, a coolant temperature sensor. We've got all this stuff to throw on still. But what I'm waiting for is I would like to try to find a 2.0 valve cover, and I need a 2.0 oil pan as well, because I want to do those two first before I take off the timing cover and everything and do that. And if I'm going to do this, I want to do the cams next. And those should be coming in the next few months. I'm kind of waiting on, saving and everything like that. So once that comes, then I'll be able to really break into it. And then I need to find a new daily driver and everything like that. And I will be able to start working on the car itself. So the 2.5 is a project that's ongoing, and I haven't forgotten about it. Obviously, it's very exciting. It's important to me to finish that, but I'm waiting on the big ticket items. So the cams, the cam set, and the intake manifold. Both of those upgrades, you don't need them, but I just want to do them. I think they're probably about $1,100 or so. So I'm waiting on that. Just did the side stripe, Kuro special edition stripes, stripe garage, no color. Are you talking about the stripes on the doors, like the club style stripes? I do like those. I've looked into them for my car. I think they look really cool, but it's one of those things where I see other people's cars and I think they look really good, but I don't know if I want to do it for mine yet. But I do think it looks really cool. So I'm sure it looks nice on your car. I just haven't broken down and done it yet. That's my only hesitation. I know you can take them on and off, and they're not permanent if you don't like them, but I'm just debating it still, I guess. Two point five cams, intake mount, torque. So on the 2.5, they have a so on the 2.0 that I have a red line of 7,200. I think the 2.5 has a red line of, I think it's about 6,000. With the cams, it increases your torque through the top end because it drops off on the 2.5. So the intake manifold is something that a lot of people recommend to do. With the cams though, it increases your overall kind of rev range and power through the rev range. And I know some people have compared the 2.5 to a very truck-like motor, since it has such a lower, like a red line. With the cams, we should get a little bit of performance out of that. And with the 5-speed and everything, I want to get a new diff. I need to get a LSD. And with the 5-speed LSD and the cams, I feel like that should be a good combination for keeping the gear ratio pretty good, instead of making it too crazy where I'm going on the highway at 5,000 RPMs or something crazy like that. So it's all complementary modifications, and I figure while the engine is out, I should just do it while it's out. I feel like that's the best bet to do. And I'm really in no rush to do the 2.5 or get it installed at least, because I want to make sure it's good before I put it in and not worry about it. So Trans is a 5-speed. So I have the sport trim, which is the lowest trim you can get. When I bought the car, I didn't do too much research on the different trim levels. I probably could have looked a little bit longer, so I have the 5-speed sport model that has the 5-speed gearbox and the open diff. So I really should have looked for like a 6-speed Grand Touring
and I would have got the best of both worlds, the 6-speed and all that. And I'm not saying the 5-speed is bad. I do enjoy 5-speed. It does rev a little high when I'm on the highway, but it's not a huge deal. Rear gear will be a little different because I think the open diff is I want to say it's 3.7 something, and the LSD is, I think, a 4.1. So it will be a little different. And there's nothing wrong with the sport trim. I like the sport trim. It's a little more basic. You don't get the Bose kit or anything like that, but I mean, I've added a new radio and all that stuff. Mazda, the MX-5 Mazda really didn't skimp too much on the trim levels. Like if you got like a GT compared to a sport, you really didn't miss out on too much besides like the suspension. If you're going to change the suspension, it doesn't matter. Like I've changed my suspension, so I don't even have like the Bilsteins or anything, but I put in a new suspension set anyways. So you miss out on a few things, but really not that much. At the end of the day, if you're going to mod your car, it's really not that different. Head unit, Apple CarPlay. Yeah, that's the same thing that I did. I have a Bluetooth double DIN touchscreen. It's really nice. Thanks, man. You should definitely do the 2.5. I have 108,000 miles, so just about as much as you. The engine runs fine. I have no issues with it. But while they were so cheap, I saw a good deal, so I was like, well, I might as well pick one up. So it's really a fun process. I've learned quite a bit, and I'm glad everyone is enjoying the videos. Hopefully they're learning something, making it look easy, because like I said, I'm no mechanic. If I can make it look simple, 37,000 miles, that's less than I got on the car when I bought it, and it's a 2011 as well. So you got many more miles to enjoy that car. Also, guys, for everyone watching, if you give this video a thumbs up, it'll help get broadcast to more subscribers. So if you're on mobile or computer, if you can give the video a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. If you can. Along with the clutch last. So my clutch is original, and like I said, I've got 108,000 miles. The clutch doesn't slip. I don't have any issues. When I do put the new engine in, I think I will put a new clutch in just for the sake of doing it while it's out. But I've never had a clutch issue besides the clutch master cylinder. But that was, I think that was a anomaly. But yeah, no issues with the clutch. If I'm putting a whole new engine in, then it's one of those things where like you might as well replace it before it goes bad, but I've never had an issue. That's the nice thing about these cars is they don't put out a ton of power. So with a 2.5, I'm trying to hit as close to 200 horsepower as possible. If I can hit like 180, that would be pretty good. I could probably do a stock clutch on 180 horsepower. I'm gonna go for a little bit more aggressive setup just for the sake of doing it, just to upgrade the maintenance. But yeah, it should be fine. I mean, like you said, you've got less than 40,000 miles. Your clutch is going to last quite a while unless you're going crazy with it. I think the 2.5 turbo is awesome. So when I was down at Dynotronics like 2 years ago, there was a guy there with a turbo 2.5 that had like 400 something horsepower, and it was absolutely insane. Obviously, he had to upgrade a lot of things, and you can't just slap a turbo on it and expect it to work long term. But if you got an engine and you've got the money and time, you should turbo it. You should just go for it. because I've heard tons of people love it. You should just do it. Going to keep your flywheel stock, go with a lighter one. I think I'm going to go with the lighter flywheel. Sorry, this is not a good way to mount the phone. I think I'm going to go with a lighter flywheel. I'm going to probably look for one of those kits that comes with a with the clutch setup and flywheel, and just upgrade everything. Just go, just go all out. I don't want to break the bank with this build. Part of me is trying to kind of prove to myself that you can do this swap without spending a ton of money. And I really haven't. I think at most I've probably spent about $400 now on the swap. And that's all the replacement parts. And you don't have to do the cam or the intake manifold. You can probably spend under $500 or close to $500 on a complete swap. If you save all your parts, I bought all new parts, like the parts that you have to swap over, like the crank pulley and the oil pickup. You can save all those parts and save that money, but I've chosen to just, buy the new stuff. You don't have to do that, but I've just chosen to buy the new stuff, so. Selling a hot hatch for the daily driver. I am. So I've narrowed it down to quite a few things. So my heart is still set on a Fiesta ST. I think that's one of the best hot hatches you can get for the money. I found quite a few with like 40,000 miles for like $12,000. I want something new. I want something safe. I don't have kids or anything, but in the future it's possible. So I want to get something that sets me up for the future. I've also thought of the Focus ST. Those are really cool. A little bit more expensive, but you also get a bigger car, more power. And then I've also looked at the WRX hatchback, and then I've also thought of the GTI. So I want to get something performance orientated because I want something with a little bit of like street cred and everything like that. And so I've kind of narrowed it down to those few cars. I think I would look at a Veloster Type R or whatever they're called, Veloster N. But those are, they're a little newer, so they'd be a little bit more expensive. But yeah, I want a hot hatch. I want something that I can throw, yard supplies and parts in and not care too much about it. But I want something that's kind of fast. And I want something fun, because driving the Miata every day, I don't see myself going to buying like a boring sedan and enjoying driving that to work every day. So we find out forced induction. So the reason why I'm not going forced induction on my current engine is because I have 108,000 miles, and it's just, I don't see it as economical to put forced induction on an engine with that many miles and hoping that it will last longer. So the engine I got was $250, and for $250 you get a 30 horsepower increase. Forced induction, you'll end up spending a lot more and probably get, maybe like a 60 horsepower upgrade. So I figured, I'll probably go forced induction in the future, but with the engine I got, it's got like 45,000 miles on the 2.5. So there's lots of room to play around in that. And I just didn't want to use my money on forced induction without doing the long-term upgrade as is. Yes, the ST also have DuraTech 2.5. I think they have a 2.5. It's either 2.5 or 2.3. I don't think it's the same engine though. It's not the exact same engine. Bitch was it to do coilovers. Thought it would be easier. I've done coilovers on. So on my previous car, my Kia Spectra. Get excited. I did lowering springs on that car, and then I did coilovers. And then on this car, I did lowering springs and then coilovers. It's really not that hard. It's 5 bolts. If you think about it, it's like 5 bolts total to get these suspension parts off each corner. It's really not hard. The springs are harder because you have to like take them apart, compress the springs, and do all that. The coilovers really are just pop them out, pop them in, and you're good to go. But yeah, doing the exhaust. So I did the muffler, the mid pipe. Muffler and mid pipe aren't too hard. The header is really annoying, but not being a mechanic or anything, I've done all that stuff myself. It's something you can definitely do at home. You might have to buy some tools like a wobble bit for your ratchet, and otherwise you can really do it yourself. It's really not hard. Just put your coilovers in, and you have to go get an alignment and everything, and you'll have to play with the height and everything like that, but it's really not hard. So one thing I want to, I guess everyone who's here, part of the thing that I've been toying with is I've been thinking of how I can like transition my videos. Obviously, nothing's going to change as far as the mods go. I'm still going to make modification videos and things like that, but I'm curious as to hear if I know a lot of like Miata people are on my channel, and that's to be expected. But as far as like a new car goes, I'm not going to get rid of my Miata before you think that. I'm not. I'm keeping it for a really long time. But as far as like looking for the new daily, I do wonder if people would be interested in seeing that, like test drives and things like that, and just seeing how what new cars are out there. I do wonder if you guys would be interested in that sort of thing. So I know there's only like 10 people in here right now, but if you are interested in that sort of thing, just let me know. Because at the end of the day, I am an automotive channel, and while the Miata is my kind of flagship car, eventually there's going to be another car, that I work on. There's going to be something else that I work on as well. So I do wonder if people would be interested in that sort of thing. Savage Geese. I think I've heard of that channel before. Definitely be interested in seeing driving. Yeah, so like with just for example, for like the Fiesta ST and Geese in the Miata series, is that the guy who's doing the Miata documentaries? Is that who that is? He made like a NA, NB, NC, and ND documentary series, right? Barrett Jackson is awesome. See your dating. Okay, cool. Yeah, the documentary series. I did watch the NC one. I did like them. They were really informative, and I did enjoy those. Yeah. Yeah, so I did see those. They were really good. It's really cool to see. So like it's interesting because 2 years ago when I started this channel, there was like really not a lot of NC dedicated channels, and I'm really excited to see other people starting to make, videos on their channels with the NC. It makes me really happy to see that, like, because the NA came out. There's like every single automotive channel has an NA build at some point. A lot of people have NB builds, but to see a lot of people doing like NC stuff now, it's really exciting because it makes me feel like a lot of new parts and companies are going to see that a lot of people have interest in these cars now, and they're going to start coming out with new stuff. Yes, that's what I saw. Is they had the developer on there talk about like the under bracing and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm definitely curious in comparing the Focus ST and the Fiesta ST. I know the Focus ST has, more power, it's a bigger car. I have heard really nothing but good things about the Fiesta ST though. Um, Funny story, my friend has a regular Fiesta, not turboed or anything like that. It's just the kind of the regular Fiesta. Just drive it home and take it to work the next day to see, how I liked it. I guess those cars have terrible transmission issues. So I was driving it home and I pulled in to get gas because he had no gas. So I was like, all right, well, I'll fill his tank up since he let me borrow the car. So I pull in and filling it up with gas, and it won't start after that. Like, it seems like the battery has some sort of issue or something like that. So I get someone to jumpstart the car, and I live like a quarter of a mile from a gas station. So I get it home, going 30 miles an hour, no problem. I wake up the next day, and I'm taking it to work, and there's lights all over the cluster, and I go to get on the highway and it won't shift into fifth gear. So I'm driving on the highway going 45 miles an hour. It's revving like crazy. And it turns out that the Fiestas have some crazy transmission issue that got recalled, and everyone was trying to get it fixed. Turns out I had his car when the transmission decided to get messed up on it. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I've looked back now and realized that the manual transmissions on those cars are fine and they're good. But I just thought it was kind of funny because I was thinking about a Fiesta, and it just so happened that I got his car when everything went wrong on it, and it was pretty funny. Driving down, I had to get off and got on the frontage road, but I could only get up to like 45 miles an hour and just had to limp it back to his house, and it was a whole ordeal. But it was kind of sad. That was my first impression with a Fiesta, but I've heard the Fiesta ST is much better. I know, so as far as the Fiesta goes, I know that like I listen to a lot of Smoking Tire podcasts and I watch all of the Smoking Tire or One Take videos, and I've heard the Fiesta ST really is a great car with like the mount tune, tuning and all of their stuff. I've heard that's like the way to go, so that's definitely something. When I think about new cars, I definitely think about their like modability because I have to work on cars. I can't just drive a stock car. That's not how I work. I like to do stuff. I like to make cars my own. So that's definitely something I've worked to think about at the same time. 60-minute stock on the Ford Fiesta transmission issues. I might go look at that. I've read a little bit, but I might go watch that. So I'm the kind of person who I think about one thing and I have to like dive down into it, research everything, watch everything, read everything that I can. I like to know everything. Sold his Fusion RS. I didn't know that. I know that he speaks highly of the Fiesta ST. I think he said he had one. That's all I remember. But stock to cat back. Posted up on the there's an NC Miata buy sell trade page on Facebook. Go post it on there. I bet someone will buy it. People are always looking for exhaust stuff. So post it on there, and Miata.net. They have a classifieds page as well. I bought a few things off of the Facebook page and the classifieds page on the forum. I was all about the RS went back with the SAT. The RS is super cool. The RS is a little out of my price range, but that would be the way to go if I had the money. Like if I could choose between an STI, an RS, and like the Type or the what is it, the Volkswagen Golf R. I probably look for the Ford RS. Don't do Facebook. Okay, well then just I would just go on the Miata.net classified page and post it up there. But if you feel like making a Facebook profile just to post on the NC page, there's a lot of people looking for stuff, and it's really easy to post. If you just want to join that group, you can do that. But I understand, a lot of people don't have Facebook, and that's fine. But it is there is a classifieds page on there, so you can always check. Sure, Brad. I'm glad I can help. It's always fun to sell stuff. It's always fun to buy stuff, so I get it. Yeah, it might be worth it. You'll probably sell it faster on Facebook than you would on the forum. What's up, Bryce? How's it going, buddy? Finally, you got the time outside of your Air Force stuff. You can, come chat with an old friend. We all salute your service. Nice. So you got what? MLK Day off, right? That's exciting. I know I sounded sarcastic, but I actually do mean that. We do thank you for your service. HPDE. What is... I'm drawing a blank on HPDE. What's on the ice cube? So this is Wild Turkey 101. It's very good. I'm a big whiskey drinker, and I got a whiskey bourbon today, Wild Turkey. It's what my grandpa used to drink, so I'm, giving it a shot, and I'm really enjoying it. Bryce can't catch a break, man. Enjoy your scotch, man. What kind of scotch are you drinking? I did recently I've done Johnny Walker and Glenlivet. Scotch, at least. Lagavulin, I've heard that is very good. I have not tried it yet, though, but I've heard it's very good. It's a good Friday night for that sort of thing, especially if you don't have to work tomorrow. Oh, okay. So when I did autocross, the few times that I did do I had a ride along with someone who's like an instructor, and they were okay. It was a little frustrating because it was like he came on my second run, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you did fine," and I was like, "Okay, I'm still running a slower time." you know, personally slower time. Yeah, I remember your ride along too. Yeah, that was the first time that I ever autocrossed. So you gotta give me a break there. But I have thought about doing there's a MER. Um, it's Crescent Ranch. I think they do a driving school kind of thing, and I've definitely thought about doing that. As far as driving schools go, um, right now it's off season in Texas. There aren't a ton of driving opportunities like autocross and stuff like that. So I got a little bit of time to figure out that. I'm worried that by the time March comes, I'm worried the car will be ready to be engine swapped. So I might not even have a car to do it. So we'll see. I definitely want to do it though because a big goal of mine is since I've got the car kind of where I want to, I definitely want to get better at driving it and learn how to go faster. And that involves, doing more events and going to more class opportunities and things like that. So there's actually a lot of clubs in Texas area that are for Miatas. So there's Metroplex Miata enthusiasts. Those are like a lot of NA and B guys, and I meet those guys. Um, they have weekly meets and monthly drives. There's also Blue Bonnet Miata Club, Lone Star Miata Club. There's all kinds of different clubs. I'm not specifically joined into a club. I like to go to everything. I think you learn a lot from a lot of people. There's a lot of different demographics with NC people. There's a lot of older guys, a lot of younger guys. So I think it's important to kind of meet with everyone. So I'm not specifically in a club. To be fair, I did ride along with Bryce a couple times, and he drove a lot faster than every other NC there, except for one guy. He drove faster than me, that's for sure. So if he does shift weird, he does shift faster than me. Yeah, I definitely need better tires, and that's something that's gonna come later. Because I drive. Once my car becomes a toy, then I'll get the better tires for it. But I drive 40 miles to work and back every single day. If I had performance tires, they would be shredded up in between events, and it would be pretty pointless. Yeah, I remember the S2000 was faster. Um, but you were pretty fast, man. I learned a lot from you, believe it or not. You drove really fast, and it was cool to see. Your car is really well put together, and I did learn a lot from seeing it. So this phone does not want to sit still. It's autocrossing permit yourself. That'll be cool, man. It'll be cool to autocross in another area. I wonder if their cars would be set up differently, but the environment's pretty much the same, so it's probably similar. But that'll be really fun to get out to a different group. You won't have to worry about the roll hoops. I've never had an issue. Um, as far as helmets go, depending on what group you race with, there will definitely be helmets available for rent. I rented helmets my first couple, but I got a little sick of it because I got a bald head. Okay, hopefully I'm back. So I have a bald head, and when the sun hits it, I get really sweaty, and I was putting on other people's helmets, and I was like, I'm getting these helmets disgusting, and I'm sure other people do as well. So I decided to buy my own helmet. I think I spent $100 on my helmet, pretty cheap, but you can always rent helmets. I definitely recommend getting out there and just doing it, even if you have, basic tires. It's super fun. You learn a ton about the car. You learn your limits. I mean, my first autocross, I spun out. Bryce knows. I spun out, and I ran slow times, faster times, and I learned a ton about the car and how to drive it and what its limits were. So I definitely recommend getting out there and doing it. And if you do it, then you'll learn what you want to improve and what you can do better. Because the classes don't matter. You compete with yourself, really. The people who do it pretty religiously compete with others, but if you're new, you just compete against yourself and just have a good time. I definitely recommend doing it, even if you are worried that you won't compete well. It doesn't matter. You should just go for it, and it's cheap too. It's like $45 to run for the day. Yeah, you should just try it. Nothing's stopping you. I mean, if you'll figure out you probably need new tires, but either way, you're gonna have a good time. You should just go for it. And I mean, you have, at least in Texas, we have it probably until March to really start preparing for events. So you have like a couple months still if you want to get new tires in that time. You won't not. I mean, they check like your wheel bearings and stuff in tech, but you'll be fine. All right, so I've been on here about like an hour now. I think I'm gonna bounce. I didn't finish this project. Yeah, you'll definitely drive on the edge of traction, and you'll learn what the edge of traction is. So I didn't get to finish this project. I'm gonna do it off camera anyways. So I'm gonna bounce from this. Thank you all for joining the live stream. I appreciate you guys joining. I haven't been on here in a bit, so thank you all for jumping in and joining the conversation. And thank you all for subscribing. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. It'll go live at 10:30 a.m. Check that out. It's a little different from things that I've usually done. So hope you all have a wonderful Friday evening. Enjoy your weekend. Love you too, baby. See you later. Bye.